Providence has a peculiar way of policing. An officer arrives on the scene. There's a crisis. A motorcycle accident, maybe, or an arrest. Sirens shriek in the distance. Cop car doors slam. But out of the car, beside the impressive blue uniformed figure, adorned in gold pins, colorful badges, and shiny artillery, is a slightly less imposing form. The police officer takes care of the official work, makes sure critical concerns are dealt with, makes any arrests, makes sure everyone feels safe. And his unlikely partner makes sure the kids at the scene are all right. In Providence, Chief of Police Dean Esserman has begun a partnership with Rhode Island Family Services. So policemen and social workers ride along together in the police car. Here's Esserman.
You know, policing for a long time was all about working alone. I don't know if you like John Wayne, but I love John. I've watched every John Wayne movie. I've been to John Wayne's home in Iowa twice. And I think I'm typical. Lone cowboy. And that's the culture of American policing. And if there's been a real change in American policing in the last couple of decades, it's been this community policing movement. It very much means partnering and collaborating. And that's how this relationship with Family Service of Rhode Island was born.
So this week, our city's government is in the national spotlight. And it's not because of our primary. The Providence Police Department and Rhode Island Family Services have joined to create a sort of community policing in Providence. And this week, the On the Beat Multilingual Police Liaison Program, a partnership between the two groups, has received a national award. Local Initiative Support Corporation, LISC for short, and MetLife have presented this award every year since 2002. We asked Julia Ryan, stationed at the LISC office in New York, to tell us a little bit about the award.
It's called the MetLife Foundation Community Police Partnership Award, and it honors partnerships between community groups and police that are unusual, that are really going beyond friendly cooperation into the realm of sharing strategies, sharing resources, really getting down and seeing how very different industries, very different organizations can work together to prevent crime and make neighborhoods better places to live.
And what's really in it for Providence?
$15,000 in cash. Yes, the MetLife Foundation Award does come with a flexible grant that they can use to advance their partnership. I have to say, like I said, I sit in New York. As part of my job, I have the luxury of reading the 720 applications for these awards and being part of that selection process. I think what has been noteworthy for me about the Providence groups is there's just some incredibly inspired, thoughtful, strategic leaders at the helm.
Susan Ersling is one of those leaders. Susan is one of the senior vice presidents at Family Services of Rhode Island. Family Services has been around for about 100 years.
Family Services is a very large social service agency that works statewide. We have predominance of service in the Providence area, the urban area, but we are in South County as well, providing a variety of services along the continuum for children and families, mental health services, social services, and practical services.
She tells me about the partnership, how a social worker rides along with a police officer, how the police station and family services have done group trainings, and how the most important languages to have in Providence are Spanish and East Asian languages. She and the other clinicians in the On the Beat Multilingual Liaison attend weekly command staff meetings and have monthly case consultations with the police. They aim not only to respond to critical situations, but to provide long-term preventative solutions. And what is the On the Beat Multilingual Police Liaison Program specifically?
Well, I think On the Beat means that it's out there in the community, not just responding to critical incidents, but riding along in cars. Multilingual means that we speak more than English, and we speak Spanish and have some other languages available to us, and that we're in the community, partnering with them. We're not just out there by ourselves at their referral, we're with them. So it's a true partnership and a collaboration. We each have something to offer.
Susan tells me how this has really been a mutually enriching relationship.
They've actually done a great thing for Family Service, which is to provide us access to families who are in critical situations who might not seek services. I just want to say that the police have been very open, but we've had to work to build a relationship of trust. They have their own culture, and we respect that. They have tremendous respect for us, and it's really quite a unique partnership. From what I understand, a lot of cities haven't been able to pull it off as well as we have in Providence. So,
Why do you think it's so difficult?
it's a very high-risk business, policing, and I think that social workers are a foreign body to police. But there is one thing that we share very much in common, and that is all police officers are very concerned about children, and that's been one of the areas that we've had a wonderful partnership about, is taking care of the kids.
Susan tried to get me to go out on a ride along with one of the clinicians.
So, yeah, and I have a lot. You might want to take a ride along sometime in a police car.
That would be awesome.
I can
Yeah.
take care of that for you.
Really?
Oh yeah, you could go out with Carla, who does the nightly ride-alongs.
Oh my gosh, that would be amazing.
And
A ride along, as in I'd sign a release and get in a cop car and do the rounds. Unfortunately, or maybe luckily, the night was a little too busy at the station, but I was able to catch up later with one of the family service clinicians at the police station.
My name is Carla Cuellar. I'm the police liaison for family service to Providence Police.
And had you worked with the police department before? In any way?
No, this was my first time. Baptism by fire. I think, and I always tell this story, the first time I realized that this was going to work, we went to a domestic. There were 3 kids in the house. The mom was being interviewed by the police officers. The kids were left pretty much to themselves. They were all crying, with like lots of tears, runny noses. One of them started throwing up. We were in their bedroom, and then finally one of them says, Daddy has a gun in this room. And so I was like, what? What do you mean? And so we started talking with the officers and communication, and so they grabbed the gun. But I think had that been a different scenario, you never know with kids. So I think that's when it finally hit me that, yeah, this is really going to be a good partnership, and obviously good for the kids because you're reducing the impact of trauma as opposed to them just being there by themselves. And I think trying to, how can I word this? Trying to be a little bit more proactive. Immediately we're being reactive, but long term we're going to be trying to set them up with services, trying to empower them, trying to get them to advocate for themselves.
What about the multilingual aspect? Because I know specifically, yeah.
That's major. I think because I speak Spanish, just the fact that I speak Spanish and because I'm not in uniform, a lot of people are more apt, or they feel a little bit more freely to speak with me, as opposed to maybe somebody with a gun or whatnot. Especially in sexual assaults, women are very intimidated, and the last thing they want to talk to is another male.
And have you formed any relationships with people in the community through
Yes, actually, a lot of the times we might go to repeat calls, and it'll be families that I've dealt with, and sometimes they say, I just want to talk to Carla, or they maybe because they feel a little bit more comfortable, but there are a lot of people who know me by name, or they'll request me by name, or just say family service.
So finally, I asked the Chief, Susan, and Carla what this award from LISC and MetLife really means to them, personally.
To me, just that obviously this partnership is working, and not only that it's working, that it's being recognized, the work between the police department and family service, because police officers working with social workers, it's 2 totally different backgrounds and 2 totally different objectives, but somehow, somewhere in between, we're kind of meshing it all in.
It's very challenging work, and it's very traumatic work. So it's very important for people who do that kind of work to get recognized. So it's very rewarding.
As corny as it sounds, police officers are my heroes. We're engaged in the life of the families and children we serve. We enforce the law, but we do so much more than that. And this is a very real example of it.
This has been Julia Longoria for Off the Beat.